Hi guys, thanks for joining me for another video. I'm Pastor Akers here in our sanctuary at the Lutheran Church of the Resurrection. And today I want to talk to you about that red thing on the wall. What is it and what's it doing in the front of our sanctuary? Stay with me and we'll talk about it. So I brought you up into the chancel area, this area that surrounds the altar, so you can get a better view of this red candle here. And I guess the first question I want to answer is, what is this called? This is called an eternal flame. And in a lot of churches, in my home church where I grew up, the eternal flame sits on the altar. Other churches, the eternal flame is on the wall somewhere in the chancel. But why is there an eternal flame? What is it? What's the point of it? Well, if you read in the Old Testament, God gives instructions to his people to build first a tabernacle, a tent that God dwells in and amongst his people as they're traveling in the wilderness in Exodus, into Numbers, and so forth. And then God eventually, through Solomon, builds a temple where he would dwell amongst his people in the land of Israel. And in both the tabernacle and the temple, there was always a fire that was going. And the fire, it symbolized the presence of God with his people. It was an eternal flame that was always burning, and the priests and the Levites would keep that flame burning to represent God's presence with them. Not because in some way the flame was God, although God manifests himself in many different ways, including a flame of fire in the case of the burning bush story in Exodus chapter 3 and in other places. Even at Pentecost, the Holy Spirit comes on the disciples in a flame of fire. But in the temple and in the tabernacle before it, this fire represented God's eternal presence with his people. And so many Christian churches have an eternal flame that is always burning in the sanctuary, even during the week, to remind us of the eternal presence of God with us. It's not in some way because God is manifesting in this flame. Actually, it's not even a real candle. It's an electronic candle. But this eternal flame reminds us that here in this place, God comes to meet his people as we come and gather together and worship him. God is eternal. He's always present with us. And this candle is a way of reminding us of that reality. So I hope this was a helpful explanation of this red flame, this eternal flame. And thanks for joining me again today. And until next time, God bless.